All right, here we are. Two Brothers Podcast, September 17th, 2025.
Is this on? Is this working?
I believe it's on. I believe it's working. I believe it's on Facebook, live to the world. But I have no idea if it's actually recording and we can actually get it where we need it to go.
Well, sometimes you just, even if the horse is blind, you just load the wagon.
Load the wagon and go. Back Porch Radio, I believe, live and unfiltered on Facebook here. I'm sure Brad Horseman will be the first one to chime in with something here very soon.
That'd be great. I have a lot to share. It'd be awesome to bring him on today with some of the stuff that we have going on in our community. And I know we're going to talk a lot about Coach Adrian, and those are some of the reasons why I think you and I are doing some of the crazy stuff that we do, because we had great people in our lives like him.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't ready to hit Coach Adrian right away, but let's just touch on it. So you talk about an amazing human being and our shop teacher, like growing up. And like, I think everybody, when you immediately say Coach Adrian, just amazing human being, but like he was our junior high football coach too. And so that really brought back some memories when you were talking about him earlier today. And just Grayson's a seventh grader. So yeah, he'd be playing seventh grade football for Coach Adrian and Coach Harkin right now.
Yeah, I think the thing that, like, honestly, I was just going to, after I talked to you this morning, I'm like, I don't want to do this podcast because there's definitely an underlying sadness that I have. So I was like, and I just when I went to work today, I just kind of did the work. I wasn't as efficient as I.
You were Brandon. You were like me today. Didn't really actually do anything. Just
I was there, and I got some stuff edited and got some stuff formatted that I wanted to do, and but I just kept thinking about that. But I also know that like the coolest part about my experience was he was my junior high football and basketball coach. And he was just one of those guys that kind of saw things for what they were. It was pretty amazing because, you know, he knew how much I loved sports. He knew how much I cared about it. He knew how much I was listening to him. So, and he just had this, great insight of talking. And I just have so many great memories. And so it's really hard to talk about him for too long. But Brandon, there was this, because I was actually like Grayson in that, your son, in that I knew everything that was going on, and then I would listen where maybe Grayson doesn't. And so I knew exactly what Coach Adrian wanted. And, when I was in school, we didn't have a bunch of brain surgeons around, the two classes that I was in. So when I was in seventh grade, I got to play. Like it wasn't like, he's just like, all right, you go play point guard and all that. And I can just remember this vivid. And the family's from Eddyville, and I think of Betty Bell and his mom, Betty, was just such, they were just such great people. And I got to spend a lot of time with them as well, but Betty and Bob, but we went down, and I don't know if we played Eddyville or Twin Cedars. And,
it's always the Adrian Bowl when it's Eddyville versus Pleasant.
And it was like, I don't know if it was even 7th or 8th grade. And I didn't ever make a point of like trying to sit by him or anything, but I think it was 7th grade. And we just destroyed whoever we were playing. And it was great. And so I can remember it was like midway through the fourth quarter, we were up by 25 or whatever. And we had the third, fourth string in, right? And he looks at me and he goes, Bingham, you know what I love about being a teacher and a coach? It's just like, and so you probably, if you know Tom Adrian, you've heard this line 1,000 times, but he talked to me like I was his buddy, but he got on you too. And he goes, Bingham, June, July, and August. That's what he said. And he said that to me because they were trying to run a play and we looked terrible and nobody knew what they were doing. But he understood the moment. Like he was not frustrated. And he wanted to share that with me. Like, you see what we're trying to do here? Like, they don't know what's going on. And so,
and he would just walk it off too.
Oh yeah.
It was just like a walk-off game winner. Every line that he
hit,
it was boom, see ya. And you might not saw him for another couple, like in school, obviously you'd see him, but like, outside of school, he'd hit you with one of those one-liners, walk off, and you like, where'd he go? And then you wouldn't see him for like a month or so. But yeah, that's just, I think, the power and the impact of coaches, teachers.
Yes.
and it's super important that we have those individuals in our life, and we have those people that help create the next wave. And a lot of that is through sports, and I think that's why we're doing this. That's why we're a part of, what we do. And that's why we're a huge part of the Iowa High School Football, association, and the coaches association and all that. Like, so we'll get to a lot of that later, but it's the Tom Adrians of the world that really mold the next generation. And I mean, I think that was on full display in Pleasantville with Luke Adrian, and him being the coach. And then you talk about full circle. Luke Adrian wins a state title last year, but then who was that quarterback this week for the Trojans?
Yeah. And he
Brody
wasn't,
Adrian.
and Adrian, he wasn't even able to throw in baseball. And so, with Braylon being banged up, but those are the kind of things that, like, for Tom, the last time I did see him was when we were at one of the games. And I mean, it was just, you didn't want to, I just could spend a whole day with him. He was just that guy and his perspective. So, he had a huge impact on me. And I do, Brandon, you talked about activities, athletics, the administrators, the educators that are in our schools, they've kind of went through a tough time of being undervalued. And whether you have a good parent foundation at home or not, these are the people that I think a lot of us will always point to. And I'll think about him, almost every single day. But just he had a unique, and I do believe when I went into coaching, and our high school football coach, Coach Danks, always told me, Bing, you'd be a good coach. But I honestly,
you got a text and a call from him this week as well.
Yeah, and I got to talk to him, yesterday. So it was interesting, though. Like, I look back and I think about some of the ways I connected with, and I had all daughters, so I ended up in a different
girl dad.
in a different arena. But I got to thinking, I probably had a lot of Tom Adrian in me when I coached. A lot of those things that he did probably unintentionally, that just being a great human, and just kind of being a good listener, and then still being honest enough. Walt Fiegel, a great coach up at Sioux City East, always talked about the line of being the coach and being their friend. And it is a fine line. But at the same time, to be able to share with them, some funny stuff, something that is, it keeps it light. Sports is too hard, to not be a little ornery and funny. And man, was he the master. He was the master at, whether it was talking about the asphalt play or whatever you say to me, because he knew that I played basketball at East Elementary every day with everybody. And he knew the difference between being smart out there and just, never assume, Bingham. And then he dropped, you know what that means, right? So he's just the greatest.
All right, let's jump into this show. We got a lot to cover today. Hit our first little segment. So our Hey Buddy segment, we haven't really brought the Hey Buddy segment. I did talk to Hey Buddy Dan Bingham today from Pleasantville.
You did.
As we talked to, the McKay group, live and local in Pleasantville, Iowa. Pretty cool to see their grand opening and everything that you got the opportunity to do the last couple weeks with McKay Group.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing that in any small towns in Iowa, we mentioned it a little bit last week, you're either trying or you're not. So it's really cool to see the community rally about just doing special things. And it's interesting if you go in and see what it's like in that facility. It's pretty intriguing.
So I had a couple fun things before we get too crazy into the Iowa Football Coach Association Player of the Year stuff. I wanted to jump into a couple things, and one of them just happened today. So yeah. This is like live, local breaking news that we're hitting on here. Let me make sure I get my right tab popped up. Pretty amazing, though, what's happening. Let me show you a little something here. Maybe.
Doing something really fancy. I mean, this is happening.
I'm trying to get fancy here. Let's see if fancy will work or not here. If fancy works, it's going to be pretty cool. All right,
well,
here it is.
Maybe you can't do it because we're live. Oh, there you go.
I know. I got it to work, though. So let's get fancy here.
That's Rico. That's not Jeff Gordon, right?
That's not Jeff Gordon. That is Rico Abreu. But keep your guesses. Well, we got people live and liking stuff. This is cool. All right, here we go. So Tony Stewart Racing announces that they're going to run the High Limit Racing Series next year for 2026.
That's not the Outlaws.
That is not the Outlaws. The Outlaws are still the Outlaws. And then High Limit Racing is now Brad Sweet and Kyle Larson running their own series.
Okay.
So Rico is the points leader in High Limit Racing. So Tony Stewart Racing has announced they're going to run the High Limit Series next year with Rico Abreu
That's
as
cool.
the driver.
Wait. Yeah, I think my wife just came home. Since this is live, this ought to be interesting. I think, he is such a fan favorite at Knoxville. It's amazing being at Saturday night, just how much love he gets.
He is, and he's such a cool guy. And the way his social media, the way he's been able to do that over the years too, has been just really, really cool. And so as you kind of see, he's coming in, and so this was kind of their video, and they did a big post, and they did a really cool thing on Dale Jr.'s Dale's download. And so Tony and Rico on the podcast announced that they're going to run together.
Oh, that's cool.
Just a really cool thing that they had. They shared this and kind of showed what this looked like, and he stole the wheel from Tony, and it was go time. Just pretty cool. And then at the end of the video, Tony, turns the keys over to him, which is pretty fun to see.
Yeah. And then they went to that sizzle reel of all of his cool stuff after that. That was awesome.
Yeah. So pretty fun. Inside of that, I wanted to hit on that. I also was going to try to get super fancy with something. And here's my last super fancy thing of the day. Let's see if I can. I might have to remove this one. We need like a producer here. I don't know what's going on.
You think we need a producer? Yeah. I mean, first time we go live, you're trying to do all this other stuff.
I know. I didn't expect to like.
Are you going to the Rays game or what?
I might go to the Rays game Friday. That would be pretty cool too. All right. Let's see. An image file. Will it let me show an image file? It will. Here it is. All right. This could be fun if this happens. All right. So NASCAR playoffs are to the round of 12.
Mm-hmm.
We are huge NASCAR guys here. I do follow NASCAR. I love watching the dirt track guys that grew up around Knoxville. Like Casey Kane was about the same age as me and my best friend Bronson Mason. We were kind of always around.
Yeah.
It was fun. So here's my test for you, David Bingham.
Oh my gosh. I see Kevin Harvick. Does he still race?
Name the 12
Bubba Wallace. I see Bubba Wallace.
Name the 12 drivers that are in the NASCAR playoffs.
Harvick doesn't drive anymore, does he?
Anybody on Facebook land, like you can help him. So I think your comments will come through. If you need to help him, I don't think there's any way he's going to get all of them.
I wouldn't be able to get, I'd really have to rack my brain. It's so funny that, I told you my wife, Kim, just came home, and when we were out in Montana, Wyoming with her dad and mom, Vic and I watched NASCAR every single Sunday. And so I knew it backwards and forwards. But I've since fallen off the wagon. I couldn't, you can't, I can't even I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing for the Infinity Health video tomorrow. I don't have room in my brain to follow NASCAR.
Well, we don't need to get any Infinity Health stuff. Like I talked to Kyle yesterday. He's going to New York for a couple of days for the Ryder Cup, or he's going to DC for the Ryder Cup. So you don't need to worry about that. I need you to answer the question and answer, who are these 12 drivers?
I see Bubba Wallace up there.
So I'm going to try, I think, to go around. So Ross Chastain's the bottom left.
So does Kevin Harvick drive anymore?
Kevin Harvick does not drive anymore.
Oh.
Kevin Harvick is losing to his son racing now in the dirt car. It's the Dale Jr. series. I don't remember.
Yeah,
the car steward.
Jimmy Johnson's not in there.
Jimmy may still race. He did not make the round of 12.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we have Ross Chastain, William Byron, Bubba Wallace, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin might be my favorite.
Yeah.
Don't tell Kyle Larson I said that, but Denny Hamlin may be my favorite. His podcast and stuff, it actually made me want to keep podcasting, even though every time we do this, I hate that we have to do it. Then it's fun.
See, I couldn't pick Kyle Larson out of a lineup. I watch him drive all the time, though.
He's amazing. Chase Briscoe, Ryan Blaney, Chris Bell.
Oh, Ryan Blaney. I see Ryan Blaney now. Yeah.
Yep. Top right corner, Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, and Austin Cindric.
Yeah.
All the way around. Nailed them.
Yeah. So why are we talking about NASCAR?
Why not? They're in the round of 12, so it's fun. Just thought that was a fun thing to hit on. All right,
Should-
let's dive into some other kind of odds and ends. So, fantasy football,
Yeah.
did you win?
Not this week.
You lost in week 2?
To Jeff Cook. I mean, he has a tough team. We always have. He always if Josh Allen would have just had a regular Sunday, I would have won. It's my whole season's whether Josh Allen plays well or not. If he plays well,
I
I'll win.
I know I lost week 2, so I am 1-1. You're 1-1. I don't even remember who I played. I played well, and just wasn't our week.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you score a ton of points and you still lose. So
That's just silly. So
yeah.
I was not super thrilled about that, which, it is what it is, right? Like part of life.
Yep.
But fantasy football, like, can make or break your mood sometimes, which is crazy. The worst part, though, of fantasy football for me is I am 0-2 in my family league.
Yeah, are you still making bets in that? And I mean, I think that if you were in a 4-team or 8-team league, I mean, anything can happen. So that gets crazy.
Yeah, so I lost to Bailey, lost Mountain Dew. I have still not drank a Mountain Dew, and now I'm probably 7 days into no Mountain Dew. I do have a Wawa iced tea, though, so.
Are the Wawas where you go, or is that just the closest one to where you're at?
So, funny story, I would never go to Wawa's because Wawa is all Coke products.
Mm-hmm.
So no Mountain Dew at the fountain. So I would never go to a Wawa because they didn't have. So I would drive and Wawas are pretty nice. They're kind of like, I would say, a mixture of a Quick Star and a Casey's had a baby in a blender.
Yeah,
that's Wawa. And so kind of interesting. Like now I'm going to Wawa again because I'm not drinking Mountain Dew. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I am 0-2 in my fantasy football league. No bets this week, but my wife beat me. Yeah, not good.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the good thing is I don't think anybody in my family would ever want to play. So I'll just stick with the people I grew up with, where there's no rules.
But thank goodness, like I'm so busy, I didn't even have time to know I lost, which is part of it. Just go to.
Do you set a lineup? Is it like Yahoo, CBS, ESPN?
I think we're ESPN, and you score. Grayson scored like 180 points.
Yeah,
and so I was just like, "How is this? This isn't even football. This isn't even football." And he was like, "Yeah, Dad, it's fantasy football." And I'm like, "Very valid." Like,
yeah.
Kind of makes some sense.
Our league is different. You've got to earn it to score points in our league.
Yeah. So other things, we've got some. Grayson started baseball again this week with some Gulf Coast Tide, brand new team started by DL Browne. Coach DL Browne just getting it done. Look at these uniforms, looking pretty sweet.
I don't know if Kim and I like the whites, I think, and then she said that the dark ones were fine too. But I'm more traditional. So they're already putting on socials.
Oh yeah, they got socials rocking. I'll turn Shabuzi down a little bit so we don't.
Shabuzi's always good. I know who Shabuzi is.
But it was just funny. He had a pretty good weekend.
So what do they do? Individual ones for each kid, or is that the whole team? Or
no, it's just his. This is a recruiting reel.
He has his own social reel. Is that the game? Is that the game where they lost 17-1, or?
I think they won that one, but the next one they did definitely. No, but pretty amazing. Pretty cool start. So they got smoked the second game. He pitched pretty well, pitched 2 innings, gave up a run. Spiked his fastball, first time throwing from 60 feet in a game. He spiked his fastball a few times, about 49 feet.
Yeah.
But his little curveball, a little curveball working, and then he barreled up 4 balls, probably better than he'd barreled up balls in a long time. So
well, I think one of the things that we talked about is like the understanding of just going and playing and competing versus being prepared at that age. And he's got a lot going on, I think, with a lot of, kids that are in multiple stuff right now. And I think the lesson too is to go have fun, and sometimes not playing and just jumping from one sport to the other. You can have a little bit of success just by overthinking it. I know those people that play a lot of golf, would understand a little bit of that, but sometimes just showing up and playing is the way to go.
Yeah, so that's kind of what he did. He just showed up, played ball, had fun, got after it. So it was a pretty cool weekend, pretty fun weekend. A lot to work on. So we'll see kind of if the Gulf Coast Tide can put it together. I know he's headed to some training and everything tonight too, so it'll be cool. And then Bailey will be in action. I think it's like the SFP Red Clay Rumble or something she's playing. So we drive all the way across Tampa to play a team that's like 2 minutes from us. And
you live in Florida, but your team's called Carolina.
Yeah.
Why are you guys called Carolina? Is that just strictly because the coach loves North Carolina and that's the colors you use?
Oh man, we had to make 2 teams. So we had to have Carolina, we had to have Navy, we had to have all the fun to make it
so
all
it's
happen.
The color?
Yeah, it's just to differentiate the 2 teams when they basically have to play in the same tournament and everything. So it should work out pretty good from how all that will happen. Here's some of Bailey's fun. So I'll play a little bit of her craziness.
So they do the same thing?
Oh, yeah. Everybody's got social media now. I might be creating all this, but I'm just telling you that, like, that's what happens. So, yeah, her St. Pete Elite softball, like, they'll be in action this week as we play the St. Pete Scorchers and I think the South Tama Thunder. So, on Saturday.
South Tama Toledo coming down?
South Tampa, sorry.
Oh.
And no Tama. So, pretty cool. It'll be fun to get both those to action. And then old goofball Grayson, he gets to play some football tomorrow against Lakeside Christian and some JV football Thursday night. So it should be a action-packed week for us with everything going on, which will be pretty cool, pretty fun. But
yeah, it's fun to watch him. It's fun to watch him get in there and play football. That's for sure.
Yeah, so it's always cool to see what happens with all that. And we'll roll into our next segment. Two Brothers podcast brought to you by Schroeder Baseball. Schroeder Baseball, all your baseball and softball needs if you need all season long. Go ahead and take a look at their Facebook page where you can see all kinds of brand new gloves that they have.
Yeah.
All the cool colorways. Of course, my kids all want new gloves. Bailey bought a new one this summer, though.
Yeah, it's pretty really cool.
Sweet, with like a ice cream cone on it and all kinds of fun stuff.
Have they ever figured out, like, so when I finished up coaching, I bet you I had 35 or close to that many bats that, were dead or whatever. Is there some sort of recycling program anymore, or what are they doing with these things?
I think that is why is it? What are we going to do with dead bats? So you got like 35 dead bats. What do you do?
Well, it's going to end up being we're going to go to, the recycling show or something at the state fair, and somebody's going to be making something cool out of them. There's got to be a picket fence.
I was thinking EAS in Des Moines, they recycle TVs and all that. Will you recycle bats? Like, what do you do? Like,
there might be a way. Somebody could make some kind of art out of them.
Be kind of fun and see what's out there, but there definitely needs to be something out there.
Man, it's insane.
It is. Let's jump right into the Iowa Football Coaches Association Player of the Year segment here. All kinds of fun stuff to cover. I know that, Schroeder Baseball bringing us this segment today. You got to go see the Madrid Tigers.
Yeah, I mean, I got to go see the BGM as well. The
BGM Bears.
The Brooklyn Bears. I think I got the volume down a little bit here, which is good. But, we talked a lot about Bo Burns, and just a example of everything that we like to follow in the state of Iowa, whether it's big school, small school, or whatever. But to go over to Brooklyn and, Madrid is. They've got an it factor there, this year that I don't know if they've had in a while. They've gotten to the Dome the last 2 years, Brandon, so it seems crazy to say it, but I just feel like they've got a little bit of an edge. Now, Burns has some playmakers. He had somebody out, one of their good players, but Landon Hassett, that receiver, is a good player for him as well. But everything that Bo got in this game, there's a touchdown there. I mean, he earned, and he's a physical kid, but I know he was banged up a little bit, which – when you carry the ball,
that kid's a beast.
Yeah, that's a sophomore.
Is that the basketball player, the Severson kid?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He is. Yeah, he's baby Bull. He's baby Brock Hinkle. He's got something going on there. And I mean, Velke's as good. He's doing a good job at quarterback as the kid they had last couple of years. Pretty dynamic, a lot of speed. But they've got a Will Atkinson kid that's kind of undervalued a little bit. It's kind of this little guy right here. He's kind of, your Phillips, just a little tough, little like find the football, yell at people, and there's Burns again getting in the end zone. Didn't have a huge.
Madrid's always got that guy, right? Just that little.
Well, I think the great small schools, and you can just see him like he's going to get 2 yards, he's going to get 3 yards, and then this is late in the game, and he's just still got a motor, and so I think these are the kind of kids that separate some of the small towns. And there's Brock, fired up, and that's the one thing that we're lucky to be able to do is to see the insight. And we can't show you like this stuff on the Friday Night Blitz and on our social because it goes so long, but these are the Tom Adrians of the world, right? These people that are impacting kids and having a lot of fun with them and making the activities great. So it's fun. He last few times we've been with him, Brandon, he's lost, so he calls us a jinx, but not this time. Madrid got the win, but it'll be interesting to see what Coach Burns and Jared does with his son, and that team will get better when it gets healthy. They could play again.
I remember, when you look back, and I don't know if we can scroll back to like that little spot where he's standing there with those kids. I immediately saw his dad.
Oh, really?
His dad mannerisms, the way he came, there, but like pause it right here. I just remember us on the field, and he was number 56 looking at his dad, those moments, and just taking in everything, and then look at him give it to the next generation. And, that's pretty cool. And that's what high school football is all about. That's what making those memories and creating those just lifelong dreams that get on that field. And so just some pretty cool things happen in that game though, right? Like, the Velke kid, I pulled up some stats. The Velke kid had 230 yards rushing, 60 more yards passing.
Yeah.
Counted for 5 touchdowns. Not a bad football game.
No, he's pretty simple and he doesn't mess around. So it's very consistent in what he's doing. And I don't know. They might not lose again. It's early to tell. They might not lose again in the regular season, but I know that they jumped up a class. They did have a loss, but I would bet BGM will be very successful here on the way out. But Brock talked about too, just Perkins. He's got Perkins on staff. He's still got Donnie. He's got so many great people.
Steve Perkins is still up there at Madrid. Oh my goodness,
amazing. And there's a Perkins.
He's a West Hancock Brick guy, right?
And that's just it. I mean, you're talking Coach Sanger, and you're talking all the way back to the Central thing and Skipper, and it's all still right there. So a lot of common ground on a lot of these high school football programs. So
I wondered why these highlights weren't great, but I think I figured it out by watching a couple of these highlights. So anytime folks at home, when you see Jesse on the other side of the shot, the other shot is actually better.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the case, but yeah, mine are pretty good. I still got it. I mean, for almost 60, I can still shoot. So
for having vertigo earlier in the morning and still fighting through the game.
Well, I mean, we can add, you were talking about Randy. I mean, we were talking about Coach Hinkle. I don't know if you want to bring this up, but
hold on one sec before we hit this. Like the one thing
wait?
Yes, you got to wait. We can't, this is a tease.
Oh, okay.
So I want to hit on one thing real quick, BGM Madrid, before we move on. Bo Burns probably had the worst game of his career.
You think of his career?
Of his career.
He had 4 touchdowns, didn't he?
275 yards of offense and 4 touchdowns. Worst game of his career.
He had a pretty good night.
Pretty good night. And actually, as I was looking at the stat line and stuff, and I knew it'd be a tough game, right? You guys go over there. It's a big deal, like everything. Yeah. And then, against a really good Madrid team that can't wait to just punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Somebody just wants to hit him. But to have 275 yards and 4 touchdowns and say that's a bad game, that's more than you had in your whole career.
Oh yeah, by far. Yeah.
All right, move on. I just wanted that one.
So we, anytime we go to Madrid, and we're talking about these great coaches, and we've been talking about a lot of them. And Coach Hinkle had such a great understanding, like Coach Adrian too, of just where he was and the importance and not overblowing the situation. And he was really in those, last few years before we lost him, he was really enjoying stuff. But, they have Donnie Lincoln, and Donnie has always got to come up with some sort of, he's like you, he's come up with some sort of skit, some sort of plan, before each game. And when we were coming, you knew he was always going to do something funny. But I just grabbed a random one from 2008, and I'm sure Brock and Matthewson, who's coaching over at
ACGC.
I'm sure on the roster here. But this one kind of captured what you asked me about was, aside from Coach Hinkle giving a great speech every time and Donnie coming out, and we'll get to hear him here in a second. But this one captured their walk into the stadium with Thunderstruck and all that. So it's pretty cool.
The real Madrid Tiger is ready to go on the prowl.
Donnie.
Never learn the jungle, baby. I'll tell you what. You gotta love it when somebody comes into your house, baby. When somebody walks into the jungle looking for Smash Mouth, I'll tell you what. We're just like UPS, baby. The Madrid Tigers will deliver 48 minutes of Smash Mouth. Let's get it on.
And so that's Donnie's trailer. And I think he still has the same Jeep the last time I was there. I don't know. He still got the same one.
I got to turn Donnie down a little bit. Yeah, I don't know who 23 is. That might be the ACGC coach there.
That's Matthewson, I think.
Oh, my. Like, this was just so cool. Like, the way they brought it to... You know who's having nightmares right now? It's Scott Korsman.
Tonight,
it replays, but yeah, good stuff.
I love it. Like every fantasy draft too, it never fails that we talk about Madrid football. And Scott Korsman always brings up, and like, it's like the first time we've heard the story. Like we had to play outside in the semifinals. Like we threw our cleats away.
Like, we didn't have our cleats anymore. We were going to the dome.
We had to go find cleats. We had our basketball shoes. We were playing in the dome. We were going to beat Madrid like a drum. We had to go outside in the freezing cold. And it was like, dude, I was there. I saw it. I wasn't on the team, but I was like in school. I saw it. I watched it. I witnessed it all. Like, and he just like, he goes through it. It's hilarious when he does that every time. But I wanted to hit on some other cool stats and some cool games that happened throughout the state this week. One that I thought was pretty interesting was the Iowa Valley versus Montezuma game.
Yeah.
Did you hear the score of this one?
Yeah, I heard it on the way back. I just was like...
Iowa Valley, 83. Montezuma, 64. So then I was like, okay, like we played basketball. What happened here? And then I was like, we may have a candidate for possible individual game of the year.
Well,
Nolan Kreigel.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's been flirting with some numbers the last couple of years anyway. So,
yeah. So I wasn't like overly like shocked that Nolan Kreigel all of a sudden showed up with the possible individual game of the year candidate.
Yeah.
353 yards rushing, 9 tutties. And then I think we need to call the Iowa Valley Casey's, like the Marengo Casey's.
Yeah.
And find out, did he have a kick return for a touchdown? I think he did. So I believe he had a touchdown for every finger. 10 tutties, 353 yards rushing, 83 points, and a win over Montezuma, 83-64.
Montezuma's always involved in those high-scoring games. They have a 200-point game they were involved in the Dome, I think. It's just – that's crazy. That was like BGM and Madrid combined for 27 points in the first half and 53 in the second half, and that seemed like a lot. And as we were driving home, we're like, oh, that doesn't even – that's how many Iowa Valley scored.
I wonder if – I hadn't never put this together, but maybe it's something to do with Grinnell, Montezuma.
Oh, yeah.
So Montezuma is the king of like all these high-scoring, crazy stat games, and then Grinnell.
Yeah.
You go to Grinnell basketball, like, record scoring, all of that. There's got to be something. I think same coaches.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just something connected there. You look back, though, and you think about, what Nick Nurse and what's happening in basketball the last 15 years. And you look back on Grinnell, and it was kind of a philosophy and understanding of why, it's just an algorithm and something very smart, like how you could generate more points by trying to play the game differently. And that's the way it is now. It's just a little different. So Grinnell College.
Grinnell College. Yeah. Scoring points like crazy. Some other really cool games that I had was Solon over Mount Vernon.
Yep.
Like, I thought that was a big win. I thought the quarterback at Mount Vernon, he's a potential IFCA Player of the Year candidate. I think it's Heavenback.
Yep.
Just like really, and he looks the part. I've seen a couple photo video. I think Rick Coleman just bringing it up there in the Cedar Valley area, and like just pretty cool to see what that Mount Vernon kid is. But Solon to go get that win's a huge one. And then another game that really caught my attention was Hinton.
Yeah,
Knocking off the defending state champ AJ Harder led Tri-Center.
Tri-Center's run into a couple of teams here down the line, and I just Hinton was in the dome last year. I think Tri-Center was such an interesting story, Brandon, just because that was a team that hadn't even been in the playoffs the year before, had a losing season, and then made that run. You just don't see that. Obviously, they had a super talented quarterback still, and their running back from last year that went to Grandview. But yeah, I think Hinton is consistent. I think they probably were a little bit like they're a little bit like Pleasantville and BGM. Some of these programs are always consistently good. They might not be consistently in the dome or playing for a championship, but they're always right there. And I think Hinton's thought their time was last year, and so I think they were ready for that game.
Their time is now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Hinton knocking them off. Another win that I thought was pretty special was PCM beating Williamsburg. Especially in the post Adrian Robbins era. Like, yeah. I didn't know if PCM would ever score a point after that kid. Man, he was just such a stud. They had a couple other kids that were really awesome last year and kind of their run and everything. But, to show up and beat Williamsburg 23-21. And then I don't know if Grundy Center has lost regular season or even postseason for that matter in like 22 years.
Yeah.
I think it's like 5 years truly, but they go and beat Dyke New Hartford. Dyke New Hartford's always going to be good. They're always going to have a great team tape at the end of the year too. So, Grundy Center goes and takes care of them. And then Boyden Hull Rock Valley upsets OABCIG.
Yeah. And Corey Brandt and Boyden Hull Rock Valley, I mean, this is a program that's in the dome every year. They've been almost every year. They're always cracking for it, whether it's, them. Just what's really weird is it just depends on like up in that northwest part of the state, what programs are in what class and who has to play what, and they just beat each other up. And it just didn't really dawn on me that they would even, because they've been in 3A and with these classes strung out and adding that 5A, I never expected them to be in 2A. And so I talked a little bit to the staffs. We're going to go up to the Kemper, Odelwood Arthur Battle Creek Ida Grove game this week. We had it marked kind of like we did the BGM Madrid game.
You're getting off the back porch. You're going to Carroll?
Yeah, we're going to Carroll, and it's going to be exciting. And I think, just for us, to work with the Football Coaches Association and get out of the metro and go to these small towns, I think is the thing that people don't know what it's like and how special it is. So we're looking forward to that. But take no shame in losing to Boyden Hull Rock Valley ever. I mean, that sometimes that could be the best thing that happens to you playing this kind of competition. Now, if you can stay healthy, right? If you're not getting beat up. And I tell you what, after that Madrid BGM game, there were some kids there was some popping going on. There's kids in some ice tubs.
Well, same thing with Pleasantville. The little Braylon Bingham acting like he's hurt, and all that stuff. Like, and then I think Pleasantville, 3 of their top, 5 kids are out.
It's interesting. Hard. It's interesting, like, especially, we really started seeing it in the CML in the last 10 years where you can, if you take a week off, you'll lose, but is it worth it? Does it really eliminate you from the playoffs? And I think especially in those classes that are expanded now, they played through week 8 and then they go to the expanded playoffs in those smaller classes. I don't think they have to worry about it if they know they're going to get in. And, home field, what seed, who am I going to see? You can think about that. But honestly, Brandon, since we've been going to the Dome in 2001, you go up there and you're like seeing Brett West Hancock still there or whoever, and then you're looking across the field and somebody's on crutches for the other team, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're in trouble.
Yeah,
because nobody from Britt's going to be hurt. And that's the thing is it's like you have to decide, what's right for your program. And so I give coaches a lot of credit when they give kids the break if it's not going to cost them playoff position.
Yeah, I'll go 2 ways with that. It's interesting that Pleasantville to beat Mount Air. Like
Surprised,
that's a really good win for Pleasantville to beat Mount Air to go to 3-0 without some of their horses.
Yeah,
and then
says a lot.
And then I'll go to the other side of that. Grayson got hurt a week ago in football on a tackle, like dislocated his thumb. And I was just like, dude, it can't be hurt. It's not what. Don't tell anybody. If you don't tell anybody, it's never going to be hurt. And he's like, what do you mean by that? And I'm like, if you don't tell anybody, nobody will ever know it's hurt.
You don't show up on the injury report.
Yeah, Coach. You're never on the injury report if you don't tell anybody you're hurt. And he's like, that doesn't make any sense.
Just tape it up.
I'm hurt. And so thankfully he did go tell the trainer the next day, and the trainer's like, yeah, you dislocated it. You need to pop that thumb back into place. So they popped it back in, went to baseball practice, struggled, everything. I don't know. But like, I was in a meeting last week in Orlando with the new client, just really cool stuff that we have going on there. And I wanted to show how tough I was, how cool I was. And I was like, I played against Central Decatur with my mask collapsed on my face and blood coming out. Like, I broke my nose in the middle of the game, and like, I was like freaked out because I had blood, and my jersey was white. So I was going to get blood all over the jersey. And Coach Corseman just looks at me and he goes like, turn around. Don't let the refs see you. Like, they weren't even going to call timeout. He's like, just get him a new helmet. Get it like taped up. And so I just put a new helmet on. Some random kid off the sideline gave me a helmet. I put it on, the face mask like this big. And they just threw me back out there.
Yeah.
So we actually had to call timeout because I couldn't get the chin strap back on and everything. But absolutely collapsed my face mask, broke my nose, and didn't even come off the field.
Yeah, that's what makes Coach Corseman so good.
That's just what makes me so dumb. I am probably the poster child for CTE. So there we go. But as we move forward, we're going to start doing some more kind of fun stuff with awards of the week. So, like Coach of the Week this week, I would probably have to give it to our Game of the Week and have to give it to Brock Hinkle.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun when that happens. And then out there in Facebook land, out there in Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok land, we need to see your plays. Like,
yeah, that'd be kind of cool, right?
Yeah. So if you've got a really great play, share it with Bing Bang, share it with Dome Dynasty, share it everywhere that we got. Like, we want to see your play of the week, and we will feature it on here. Along with Coach of the Week, Brock Hinkle, we'll have Play of the Week as we move forward. And then always we've got to continue to do, our threads of the game. And so Madrid is Madrid. I can't even say anything nice about him. Go back to, like, let's see some BGM gear. What did they have? Ooh, those are
too bad.
Cool. Yeah. I like those. And I've always noticed, I think it was the Burns kid, he's got that cool Riddell helmet that just looks a little different.
Yeah, wait till you see that. Here's your helmet right here. This is their center. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big boy. He did a good job too, but nobody wanted to. Yeah, I mean, you're looking up at that guy. Look at that kid.
He's a beast.
What was his measurables? I have it right here. I mean, the kid was he was probably even taller than Brock, 6'6", 320.
320.
Yeah, old Cameron.
I like it.
Cameron Cooling. The font is so small on this. I need my glasses.
We are in the Bound era, sir.
Yeah.
You can go to Bound and get it before you even show up at the field.
Well, no, it's actually a printed Bound roster. That's just the way it printed out. But no, big kid. I realized after this week, though, that Brock is definitely taller than Tabrink. They coached together in the Shrine game, which is a whole other thing that is cool.
Was this you putting on the mic?
No.
Clear up above your head?
No, but when we had to do the Wyckoff seating and cooling Coach of the Week, but no, it was good, and I wish both those teams are gonna be fun to watch from here on out.
I don't know it might have to be the Klein HVAC, the team Klein, like them. They're out there at our office getting the heating and air conditioning fixed up today. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, we got some stuff going on at ADI as one of our places we share space with. Print Promo Company. Doug does amazing things there. He's a great old guy, Urbandale wrestler, and yeah, he's keeping me updated on the air. But I'm just like, hey, I'm back here editing. I'm fine. I'm good.
So if you have to give out, so let's go over two things before we move on. If you have to say the best intro in all of the state, like we showed Madrid's. Now you fans online and everything, what is the best intro, the best high school football intro in the state of Iowa? It's probably still going to be this one.
Well, it's interesting as you see the way it looks, and there's so many things that go into it, but they would have to be very unique, Brandon, because a lot of our traditions and a lot of things, and we let this play, you'll see it. I mean, it's pretty cool. A lot of them are pretty consistent in what they do. I always go back to one of the reasons
Look
why.
at the eye contact in this huddle.
They just, it doesn't matter where Donnie does his speeches. It's I think this is late in the year, so it's kind of cool, like a week 7, week 8. You know, the sun's already almost down.
I'm pretty sure I shot this one.
Like, well, I mean, all the good stuff is me, but yeah, you're there somewhere, probably in 2008, I'm sure.
No, I'm pretty sure this is all me. If it's
no, it's not all you. But there'd have to be some unique ones, and I'd have to go through my, everybody's got maybe a tunnel, or Newton's got a really cool tunnel right now, but the way that they do it is just so unique because Donnie built a trailer. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't have anything to do. That trailer, you're not using it for anything. It's got like some 70 speakers. He used to play Aldo Nova on it back in the 70s. He was actually listening to Ozzy Osbourne before he went out on his own with Black Sabbath, and he's got that whole system in there, and that's it. My computer's going to die. I'm going to go charge it.
Oh boy.
I didn't even think about that. I'm ready for it.
We're good. Yeah. We are getting some Facebook comments, which is kind of fun with Rico to high limits.
You're just going to have to carry this all on your own now.
I hope you can hear it. Oh,
this is live.
I'll wait to be heard then. But I do have some comments about my performance in the Sprint Car Fantasy League, which was not very good. And I will not mention, I got to hang up and listen there. I don't like that. And Josh Harvey's even chiming in with not shaky enough to be Brandon's footage. I like it. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know why we did this live, but it made it fun. I was just sitting here. I actually looked at the computer because, of course, working for you gave me this bigger, higher end computer, and it never dies. And so I was just like, oh, it's dying.
Yeah, I think my computer is like 22 years old, and you've got like the Supernova. Like,
I need it. It's really cool.
No, but pretty cool. So you think Madrid? I think we're probably going to be a consensus. I would go for top walkouts, top intros, the state of Iowa, the top 3 that I'm going to say. And
I'd say there's one. No,
you can't say. Let me say my top 3. Then you get your top 3.
No. Wait, before you say them though. I just want to go back to everybody. I think has a unique feeling about their program. We obviously went to the bus at halftime at Pleasantville, but when we came out of the locker room, you walked all the way, to the field, and I'm sure there's so many unique ones that we haven't been at because we do a lot of CIML, but just walking quietly with your teammates and watching the guys before you do that walk all the way across, the school to the field was pretty good. But I do think I know my number 1 now. I think I'm going to change it.
All right, you go. I'm gonna go from 3 to 1. So 3rd on my list is Emmitsburg.
Oh well, yeah, that's the one. I mean, I can remember somebody from Parkersburg going, they're good, and we're going to be ready for them. This was in 2008, same year as this. He goes, but man, when you got 40 of those crazy Irishmen running down the hill, you better be ready to play ball. And it is a unique, and that night it was snowing that we were there. And so that's the thing, Brandon, we haven't had a chance to go to a lot of these schools. So that's why we're wanting to do some of these things. But
the cool part is I probably had the chance to go to more of these than you did, but Emmitsburg, super cool the way they come down that hill, and you just are like, if you're standing on that other sideline and you see them coming running down that hill, you're just like, all of a sudden your head turns and you're like,
yeah,
I think my face mask is broken. I'm done.
Well, and their fans are there, but they don't really see the essence of it from where you are on the other side. So, wow, Dwayne Twait too. What a unique individual. What a jewel for our state. What he did in Emmitsburg. It's just, boy, they had a great system.
So number 2 on my list, West Branch.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So West Branch.
How did Butch Peterson not pop into my head today? That's gonna be
Peterson, Tom Adrian, very similar human beings.
Yeah.
But like just the click clack of the cleats all the way down that road. And then, you're around and then you're down into the Little Rose Bowl too, which is just a pretty cool.
And Butch wanted that, that was a big part of his, what he wanted. He wanted it to be special, and he made it special. And we, you and Todd Bailey and a bunch of people went over there and shot that every year. And I got so many clips of that. So yeah, I've got the walk ready to go. I could probably bring that up next week.
Yeah, we might have to show it on next week. Just show everybody. But pretty cool. And so the number one's got to be Madrid. Like, welcome to the jungle, baby. We're UPS. We always deliver. All the one-liners over the years that I've been a part of. And, even my playing days, like, we got to go play at Madrid. I don't know if you consider it played. I think I got absolutely Rick Thompson'd.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He could run a little bit.
He could. All right. You have any other ones outside of those top three?
No, you're talking about CTE and stuff like that. I mean, I'd obviously have to give this way more thought. When you just spring stuff on me, I got no chance.
That's what I like to do. I like to just spring it on you. So then it just makes it tough and see your old age and
it's great.
Yep. All right, let's hit this and let's move into the last segment. Really, in the grand scheme of things, this might be our best show ever.
I don't know. It's live. It's crazy. Van Meter does such a cool job. They come down through their hill. Harlan has a grungy, dirty, locker room right across the street from the stadium, and they just walk in, which a lot of teams do. But, I'd have to really give that some thought before we went into it. But, yeah, West Branch way, way overlooked that one. And I haven't been to Solon. I haven't been to some of these other places live and in color. So
that's why it's fun. And
could you imagine going to West Lyon? I've actually been to a game up there when I was in college, but I don't remember there being anything special. APs, the dynamics have changed obviously a little bit.
I heard West Lyon, like, they just carry in a Pleasantville Trojan flag all crumpled up. Like, that's their thing now.
Yeah.
No, it would be fun. And so if you're out there in Facebook, the interwebs land, and you have a really cool intro or you have an unbelievable play this year, share it with us. Like, we'd love to see it. We'll show it here. And we might try to do this live on Facebook a little bit more. I know we're getting some random one comment that I didn't hit on yet, and I don't know how to bring them up yet. We might have to test that. But
bring up the comments. But if Brad's out there, we wouldn't want to bring up the comments.
Like some of them we need to filter some of the comments, but like
me and Horse, we're together that my 8th grade year and his 7th grade year with Coach Adrian, and man, did we have fun. I don't even know if we ever lost that year. We were good.
So the one comment that came up was Dan Bingham. So he commented on the show.
That's not good. I don't know if we should be doing this live. It's not really good.
Here's his comment. What? Dan the man. I should have just left that. That should have been our walk off. But anything else you wanted to cover today?
No, I just was thinking about, Coach Adrian, and we talked a little bit about him at the beginning, but it's really interesting to have been there when Coach Ferentz was hired. And I think that, Coach Adrian and the coaches that we had in our lives, we were really close to him. So we might not have been able to feel that presidential feel that you get from certain people. Coach Rasmussen, who I worked with, got to really be close to after, coaching here in Ankeny. He had that. He did such an amazing job and was just such a winner. But, when you see Coach Ferentz and you've never been personally, and you had the chance to go over and spend some time with him to do our Hall of Pride interview. And it was one of those times I didn't get to go and I was really mad, but I interviewed Coach so many times, whether it's on the radio or in person. And there's just, there's just a feeling with him that is different than you see on TV and in press conferences. He has this amazing presence. And I think it's just because of his true character. And I Coach Campbell, and there's a lot of people that have it too, but he gets so much criticism in this state. And I think all coaches do now, no matter what. And I will just always be a fan of his, but to kind of look back on some of the stuff after the game, they showed a lot of the highlights, and just having been a part of that and been on the field for a few of them was pretty cool. But that's my guy. I'll always support him. His contract goes through 2029. And, as far as I'm concerned, he can coach until he doesn't want to anymore. But really looking back on that transition, Brandon, from when they went, from Fry to him, it was really intriguing. But Hayden knew it was the right move too, which was really galvanizing. But he's been nothing but the same dude since day one. And I just think he's a tremendous human.
He is. And just, I think it's just epitome of what he's been able to do. It's just consistency. Like, you show up and you just get after it every day, good things are going to happen. And that's the model of Kirk Ferentz. So pretty amazing what he's been able to do. And heavy.
If they win their next 2 games, they'll be 4-1. Do you think that's a possibility? Do you believe in it?
Oh yeah. I think Iowa's sneaky good. Like, I don't remember. I think we were talking to Matt the other day, and we were talking Hawkeyes, and I think there's a chance, like, I don't know what happens. Oregon and Penn State are going to be tough, but we're going to beat Nebraska like a drum.
Well, these great players, and then Chad Hennings didn't play at Iowa, but a great defensive lineman that, came out of our state. And I just look at Graves, and, this was a kid that committed, out of the womb, really, but he was just a perfect fit. And I don't think people realize, like, how much heart, how much talent, how much is there. And especially having that loss with the, the Weegan kid, we're talking about the great people, Williamsburg and the Blythes and those kind of great people that Iowa and Iowa State both have on their roster. I just think people might underestimate what could happen here with some of the willpower on that team. And Weegan was he just looked like, boy, I really blew it last week. I'm going to make a difference. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think there is just that concerted effort. I'm going to make plays, and I care about my team more than me.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's life in general anymore. So that's what's pretty special. So pretty cool episode today. I have a couple really funny things real quick to show you.
Okay. Am I going to have to guess on something here?
Yeah, you might have to guess again. You might have to give me your top 3. There is no Bryson DeChambeau. I think he already gave away the car. I did not try to even watch what he had anymore. Yeah. But I saw this right before the show started, so I thought this was kind of interesting to share because I think we can all relate to this. You're on
somebody asked who would win a one-on-one basketball game against us. That's not even at my age, it wouldn't even be close.
No, I would destroy you. You wouldn't even score against me.
It wouldn't even be close.
Dude, I would body you up so hard. Like,
well, we could actually do that. I would win.
Like, I'm open to it. We've got enough space in our new office. We put a hoop in there. And like maybe like right before Christmas, we just get after it.
It'd have to be a 10-foot hoop.
No, I think I'm fine with whatever. Like, I'm going to win whatever. So it doesn't matter. I don't think I've ever lost to you in anything. So I'm good. All right, check this out. So this is Vacation. Just watch this bad boy.
I'll have to go full screen here. Who's on vacation?
Just some random. This is on C. Oh. So this guy's just trying to load he's just trying to load his truck, his Jesse Landau truck.
That's the Dome Dynasty pickup right there.
It's in the truck.
So where are they at? Are they in Great Falls or something?
Tennessee.
It's our food.
Oh, okay, Tennessee.
No.
Just like,
it knows what it's doing.
Hey, that's our food.
Take our bag.
Oh, hey. No, don't approach.
So then this guy's gonna be a hero.
Hey.
No.
Don't approach, Brian.
And then he's like, "Yep."
No.
Whatever they want, just let them take it.
Stay.
See ya.
No harm, no foul.
No, but it was just funny this first moment where he's just like, "Whoa, what do I do?" Then when he slams the tailgate, watch this.
Oh,
like, okay.
didn't catch that the first time.
No, like get boy,
Oh, no.
and then just up.
It's amazing that it knew which one to take, like which one had the goodies.
Yeah, you think you just smelled it? Smelled
Yeah.
those?
Yeah, this one had the Slim 5 right there.
He said the Jimmy John special there, you know. So, I just thought that was funny when I shared it. I always kind of want to share something funny, a little lighthearted, to get us kind of out, gone. But pretty amazing, you know, things like that. And I mean, that could be anybody on vacation.
Oh yeah.
Easily. So, anything else for today?
No, I don't think so. I'm really looking forward to the middle of the season here and seeing what happens with some of the schools, but and then just hopefully, you know, keep things rolling at Bing Bang. We got a pretty cool brand squad going with our company and some of the people we're working with, some special people. So we're looking forward to talking about that as well.
All kinds of amazing things happening. And so if Brandon would actually get back to Iowa and get some of it done, it'd be amazing what would happen.
That's all right. Yeah, make sure you send me some snaps tonight or some video. Are you having practice or? Oh no, this is Wednesday.
Yeah, Grayson's got practice here in like 15 minutes. I think 10 minutes. Bailey's gonna go hit and throw here for a little bit, and then Grayson's got ball tomorrow. He's got JV football tomorrow. So that's it. See ya.
All right.
Over and out.
I can't believe we did it live.